Good afternoon and welcome to today's segment of Healthy Eating Buffalo. My name is Joe Quackenbush and this is our special guest Brian Lilly. He will be showing us how his healthy take on soul food today. So Brian, what do you have for us?
Well, today I wanted to, in honor of summer coming up and, we all think about the South and stuff like that, I want to take a little bit healthier take on some common Southern recipes. I've got a recipe I call peachy chicken with basil.
Okay.
So to get started with this, what we're going to do is we got a pan here heating with about 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil in it.
Okay. And it looks like the chicken is fried. I don't see a deep fryer around here.
No.
How do you plan to do that?
Well, what we're going to do is normally you get fried chicken. It's going to be deep fat fried, and that's going to have be a lot less healthy than doing a simple pan fry. We're only using about 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil here, and we're just going to sear the chicken on the sear it to keep in all the juices and flavors and still come up with a pretty good dish, I think.
And as some of the audience members may know, many Southern recipes rely on deep fat frying, and as he just said, pan frying is much healthier than deep fat frying. And many of the fattest states in the Union are actually located down south, so maybe if they switch their methods to pan frying, they wouldn't be so fat. So let's continue on.
All right, so what we're going to do here is we've got a 1/4 cup of flour, and we've added to that just to taste some salt and pepper. And what you're going to do is you're just going to take your chicken breast, and you're just going to coat it in the flour just to get it covered up and good and covered, just like that. Okay, and then you're going to take that and transfer it into your frying pan and fry it. Now it's going to take about 2 to 3 minutes to, about 10 to 12 minutes to get a fry on that. So for the purposes of time, we've got some already done up right here.
Over here. And before you throw it in there, I see you're using vegetable oil. Aren't there healthier oils you could use, like olive oil, for example?
There are healthier oils you can use. There are healthier oils out there, healthier than vegetable oil. But the reason we're using vegetable oil today is because it's got what's called a higher smoke point. Some other fat sources, when you get them to a higher temperature, they're going to start smoking and start breaking down chemically. And really, those healthier oils like olive oil, if you add that, once it gets up to that higher smoke point, most of the health benefits of that oil are going to be lost anyway.
Okay.
So we're only using about 2 tablespoons of fat, so really that's going to be a good alternative for you here.
So this would be a good oil for frying then, you're saying?
Yes, it
Okay.
would. So,
sounds good.
Alright, so once you've got your chicken done, you're going to put that aside, and you still got your pan heated here, and you're going to start adding the rest of your ingredients. The first thing you're going to add is half of a red onion. And so what I'm going to show you here is a different way to cut the onion. It's known as a julienne. Normally what people are going to do is they're just going to slice the onion, and you're going to get an onion slices that are all different sizes, and they're going to cook at different rates. This is mostly for aesthetics, just so it'll look nice. But by cutting it this way, you can you'll get all the same size pieces. So you see the ridges in your onion here. And what you're going to do is just cut along the ridges all the way to the center.
Now you say julienne. Is that an American technique that you're using?
This is actually a French technique made well known from the Escoffier cookbook, which is where many of the more talented chefs get their training. Now if you look at this here, you'll notice all of the pieces of the onion are all about the same size.
So very good for presentation. You get a nice finished product.
And here I've got another one. Why don't you give it a try?
Okay, so show me how it's done. You said you cut to the middle of the onion.
Yep, you're going to cut just in towards the middle, just like that. But go all the way through, all the way down to the cutting board.
Okay.
There you go. And so if you do it from this side, you just go all the way down to the center. And there you've got it. Alright, so then we're going to add these onions to our frying pan. Now the reason we're adding the onions first is they're going to cook the quickest, or they're going to take the longest time to cook. And you just want to get them cooked enough so that they're a little bit transparent.
So while we're doing this, we should talk about something that's very important when you're cooking with vegetables and raw meats like we're using. Cross-contamination it's called. So when you're cooking with raw meat, it's very important to keep your cleaning surfaces, or your cooking and cutting surfaces clean, so you don't get bacterial pathogens from the raw meat into the vegetables, which could potentially spread dangerous diseases.
That's right. So if you'll notice, what I would normally do is if I was using a cutting board with, after using the meat, I would either flip that cutting board over or change it altogether, just to make sure it's sanitary. So the next ingredient that we're going to get ready is our peaches. Now, normally you don't think of peaches going into a dish, but I'm a big fan of using fruit in an entree, and it can come out really good. But sometimes what the problem you have is peeling the peaches. And so we have a technique known as blanching that can get the peaches off really easily. What you're going to do is you're going to alright, I'll just do it from there. What you're going to do is you're going to start with get yourself some boiling water and some ice water. And you're going to take your peaches and add them to the boiling water just for a few seconds, about 5 or 10 seconds, and that's going to start cooking the peach a little bit and loosen the skin. After about 5 or 10 seconds, you're going to take it out and immediately transfer it to the ice bath to stop the cooking process. And that should allow the skin to loosen and peel off pretty easily. You can use like a towel or a paper towel to just kind of pull it off, and it will come off relatively easily. You can see it coming off right there. See how easily that comes off? And so when you're done with that, then you're going to just slice them, and you're going to have basically what looks like you get out of a can, but these are going to be nice and fresh. You're going to have good southern Georgia peaches, and you're just going to add those right in too.
Blanching is a technique you can use in many other recipes, correct? So
Oh, yeah.
If you're using tomatoes and you need to peel tomatoes.
That's right.
So
Peeling
very
tomatoes,
useful.
anything with a skin on there that you don't want in the final dish. All right, the next thing we're going to get ready for this dish is we're going to do a little bit of lemon zest. Now, lemon zest, normally people would go out and they'd buy an expensive zester and have a tool that's only useful for one thing. But what I'm going to show you is just with a regular vegetable peeler, you can get the zest of the lemon and without buying an expensive piece of equipment.
So lemon in an entree, that's not something that's very common, is it?
No, it's not. And what you'll notice is I'm trying to get the flavor of the essence of the lemon, the oils, without getting the citrus of the that you normally get in the juice, and you can get that by using the zest. So the zest is just this colored part of the lemon, and that's what's really got the flavorful oils. When you start getting to the white, the pith of it starts becoming more bitter, and it's not such a great taste.
And what will that do for a recipe? That will make it taste like a dessert, will it? Like a lemon meringue?
No, it'll just add a little bit of flavor.
Okay.
So once I've got some peels here, I'm going to take my chef knife and I'm going to do what's called the claw method so I don't cut myself. I'm going to tuck all of my fingers under my knuckles, and you're just going to rock the chef's knife back and forth, protecting your thumb and all your fingers from getting any
Also
cuts.
a very useful method in many other facets of cooking.
Exactly.
Don't want any fingers in your dish.
So then I'm going to take my zest and add that right to the pot. And now I'm going to,
Together nicely.
yeah, and so now I'm going to take a few leaves of basil. And again, these are flavors that you normally wouldn't associate with each other, but really come together nicely. And I'm going to do another julienne on these, which you may have seen on previous segments of this show. You're going to put all your basil leaves together, and you're going to roll them up nicely so that you get a nice little roll here.
Now, why are you chopping the basil as opposed to just throwing it in there whole, Brian?
Well, what this happens is you're kind of destroying some of the cells in the basil, and by doing that, you're releasing a lot of its aromatic oils and a lot of the flavors that'll allow you to really to taste nicely.
Okay.
And then
also making a larger surface area too, so more of the flavor will diffuse throughout the dish.
That's correct. You've done this before, haven't you?
A couple times.
All right, so while this is cooking up nicely, and then to this we're just going to add about a 1/4 cup of chicken stock, just to get it a little bit nicer sauce. And this will also thicken a little bit with some of the flour that's left over from your chicken frying previously.
And there's also a name for that technique too, isn't there? Using the sauce and what's left from the frying?
That's